Scott Sheelar, who's the CEO and founder of SEPCA. How are you doing this week, Scott?
I am doing great, Kayleen. It's nice weather again here in Georgia. I'm out on my back porch again, enjoying the day. It's probably 70 degrees and just listening to the birds chirp and just enjoying the weather over here.
Oh, man, that's life. It's
How are you doing this week, Scott?
Snow a little bit.
Doing great, Kayleen. It's nice weather again here in Georgia. I'm out on my back porch again, enjoing the day. It's
I'm getting some sort of weird feedback loop. Are you hearing that, Scott?
Birds chirp. I am. Just enjoying the weather over here.
Man, that's life.
We're just gonna pause for a second.
Kayleen, it's nice weather again here in Georgia. I'm out on my back.
It's like a right. I think we have an open mic delay on the Facebook. There we go. Sweet, thanks. All right, cool. It's really hard to talk like that. It sounds like a poorly dubbed video. But you know, we're going to talk fast chunks, I suppose, today.
I was just sending a text. I think Victoria's mic is on, actually.
All right. Well, while we are, wait, it does kind of sound like.
I think we're good now. We got it all straightened out.
Okay, cool. Well, this is perfect because I actually really don't have a cool tool to geek out with this week, Scott, because I'm on the road. But I think the thing we're going to geek out with this week is probably the coolest we've done yet. I am so excited that we get to go through a nuclear power plant down in Georgia. Now, have you, with SEPCA, visited Plant Vogtle before?
We have. You know, it's a 10-year project, right? And so it started construction started in 2012. And they're supposed to wrap up by 2022. And so it's a 10-year construction project. And I remember back in either 2013 or 14 getting to do a site tour of the project. And, you know, I've visited a lot of construction projects over the last 20 years of doing this. And I was just blown away by the size of that project. It's so massive. And I've seen big projects. I mean, we work closely with Mercedes-Benz Stadium here in Atlanta. That was about a 3-year project, just to put this thing in context. And so you go over and see these nuclear power plants being built, and it's unlike anything I've ever seen. I mean, just the sheer number of people out on the project, just the sheer size. I mean, it's just, you know, it's a massive, you know, stretch of land that this project, you know, stretches over. And so, yeah, it's an experience I'll never forget, is just seeing that project as it was coming out of the ground.
What an incredible opportunity too, because, you know, like you mentioned with the stadium, that sometimes, you know, even on a big project, turnaround is still kind of fast. So to have the opportunity to work on a job site for 10 years, plus, I mean, if you want to stay and maintain the facility, this could be a career project for you. So what an amazing opportunity. I'm jealous you got to see it in person, but I'm grateful for technology. Hooray. You know, I can live with that. Well, Scott, I am going to bring Mike on so we can start this tour, because I know there's a lot of cool stuff, but you're hanging out, right? You'll be back at the end. So
I will. I'll definitely be back. And I'm looking forward to sitting back and watching it, because I haven't seen it in person in 6 or 7 years. So I'm looking forward to seeing where they are today. So I'm excited about this one.
Awesome. Well, great. Well, Scott, as always, great to start off lunch with you, and we'll see you in a bit. All right, cool. Thanks. And welcome to lunch, Mike. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm down in Burke County, Georgia, right adjacent to the power plant. So we have a lot to show you and talk about today.
I'm very excited. Do you mind telling us a little bit about what is your role there at the power plant?
Yeah. So what I want to do is I want to show a little drone video, and hopefully everybody can see that. We are at Plant Vogtle in Burke County, Georgia, and this is a drone video of flying about 600 feet with the cooling towers for Vogtle 1 and 2 there in the foreground. Now, those cooling towers are the height of the Washington Monument, 550 feet tall, and they provide cooling to the power plant where we are actually generating electricity in this metal building. And I'm pointing to it. I'm not sure if everybody on Facebook or anyone else can see it, but that's our turbine building where we generate electricity. It's a nuclear power plant. So what we're doing, we're actually splitting atoms in a reactor, which is not that large, maybe 14 feet across, that's inside these two containment domes. So this is Vogtle Unit 1 containment, Vogtle Unit 2 containment. The control rooms are tucked here in the middle, and we split atoms. And those atoms, when they split, release a lot of heat that turns water to steam. And then that steam turns to large turbine generators in this metal building. So we've been operating Vogtle 1 and 2 for more than 30 years, since 1989, just making enough electricity for at least 500,000 homes and businesses every year.
Holy cow.
Yeah, and then if you look in the background, you can see a construction site, which has a lot of interest for you and a lot of your folks. And we've had a peak of 8,000 people involved in constructing these new units that you and Scott were talking about. And that's Vogtle Unit 3 in the foreground, the Unit 4 in the way back there, and then the Unit 3 and Unit 4 cooling towers to the left. So we started, as Scott said, we basically started construction in 2012. We did do some land groundwork, excavation and backfill before that. And we expect to have both these units running by November of 2022.
That is incredible. All the statistics in there just had my mind melt a little. You snapped an atom in my brain. Having that many people on a job site is incredible. And that drone shot's spectacular to show the scope, because this is a giant facility. I mean, it is. How large is it?
Well, we sit on about 2,000 acres. So it is a large site. Now, nuclear energy has a lot of energy, in an atom, right? So we're actually on a small footprint compared to if you're using basically any other energy source to make that kind of electricity. Vogtle 1 and 2 that I'm now showing, that's on the right side of this artist rendering, are the two largest power plants we have in all of our companies. So it's Southern Company, it's Georgia Power, Alabama Power, Mississippi Power, basically the southeastern United States. Vogtle 1 and 2 are gigantic generators of electricity. And keep in mind, there's no carbon, right? If you talk about greenhouse gases, things like that, this is carbon-free electricity because we're splitting atoms, we're not burning anything. And then 3 and 4 would be almost as big, almost as large as 1 and 2. So when all 4 are running here in a couple of years, we will be the largest nuclear power plant in the United States of America. There are some places that have 2 or 3 reactors, but we will have 4. And so we will have talking about jobs, about 1,800, up to almost 2,000 people full-time working at Vogtle 1, 2, 3, and 4 for many decades, right? We fully expect to run these plants for a very long time.
That's incredible, because not only, is it basically doubling the power for this facility, but to then employ that many people, that's a career job in the trades. And that's something that I feel like a lot of folks who work in this industry kind of build something and move on, but not here. You could, for life, work at this plant.
Well, and that's a good point. There's been as many as 8,000 construction. Now there's about 6,000. So those construction jobs will, over the next couple of years, diminish. Now, those people will have some great skills learned. What a resume booster that you worked on the only new nuclear plant in this country, in 40 years, 30, 40 years. And so between the skills and the resume, there's going to be a lot of opportunities, I would like to think, for them. And obviously, we have our fair share of mechanics, electricians at Vogtle 1, 2, 3, and 4 as well, right? So there should be opportunities for some really good people for a long period of time.
That's absolutely spectacular. And I appreciate the rendering as well, because again, I think on the ground, you just wouldn't be able to appreciate the scope of this project and the size of it. Right.
Now we have a careers video that we just produced that we can show you. And I think it's about 2 minutes long. And it really talks about 5 or 6 different careers, more on the operating side. Okay. But a lot of the same skill sets from construction can relate to the operations. Then we can talk construction a little bit later. But this video is worth watching.
Yeah, let's play it. Bring it on.
Okay. Do we see it?
I'm still seeing the slide at the moment.
Well, I tell you what, if you want me to, I can go on and we can go back to the video if you like.
Sure.
Well, I tell you what, let me try this. Let me try sharing that. I'm gonna let me try one thing real quick. And go ahead.
It did come up for a second there. But I'll let you continue to tinker on it because I think it's fantastic that you folks are able to show and
our community.
Different careers involved.
Do you see it, Kayleen?
I'm seeing just a like a computer screen, like a Word document.
My role in that is developing design change packages that are used to
upgrade the plant.
Let's see.
All right, I tell you what, we're gonna go back to that later on. I'd like to go. Let me go and talk about careers through a couple more pictures and shows.
Sure. Oh,
you ought to see something. You ought to see the artist rendering.
That would be.
I also support troubleshooting. That's why I get to the field a lot of the time, and I'm supporting the operations team to identify issues and resolve them.
I like to go out.
Let me ask. And right now I'm sharing a photograph image that's got four pictures. Is that what you see, Kayleen?
Hang on. All right. Getting rid of that echo. Let's see. I got a blank screen right now. It's being shared. But no, yeah. I love all the mediums you bring in, though. I'm sure they're going to pull up here in a second. Now, Mike, how long have you been with Southern Nuclear?
Yeah, I have. And by the way, I do have and Scott and those guys behind the scenes. If y'all, I do have my slide showing. So I've been at. I came to Vogtle, and I'm a communications person. So one thing that's worth thinking about in career space is, you think about there's a bunch of nuclear engineers that might work there. Well, in reality, it's a small city. So I'm in communications. Nora's in human resources. The lady's going to join us here in a minute. And so we have accountants. We have, engineers, obviously, but we have a lot of mechanics, electrical mechanics, instrument control, operators. So I arrived about 12 years ago, and actually 14 years ago, there's just a stake in the ground where we're going to build these plants. So I came to Vogtle because of this opportunity. And then we started excavation in 2009 and started real construction in 2012. So it's almost like a small city. We have nurses that work for us. Okay. So we have a little bit of everybody there. And our company, Southern Company, Georgia Power, we have lawyers and doctors and everything else, right? So, by the way,
well, it looks like they got the big.
We provide electricity in a clean and safe way too. My role in that is developing design change packages that are used to help upgrade the plant. I also support troubleshooting. That's where I get to the field a lot of the time, and I'm supporting the operations team to identify issues and resolve them.
I like to go out and walk down all my equipment, and I can take an extra look at the things that had issues identified on them to make sure I understand the full scope of the issue.
We are in asset protection and chemistry. We monitor the plant components and all the water that's going through, so we keep corrosion down.
As a system operator, I have to be able to see what are the issues and problems being identified by the site and how resources are being aligned.
We all get together and discuss the plant priorities and anything that's going wrong with the plant, and we fix those issues as a group.
In RP, we're going to be the first ones in. We're going to be the last ones out on a job. We go in, we set up radiation boundaries or clean up any contamination or spillage, anything like that.
You never know what you'll be working on day to day. It could be a nice, easy fab job in the fab shop, or it could be some hot stuff on the turbine deck where it could be 100 degrees, but it's always something new and something different.
The satisfaction I get out of this job is providing to the community around me. And so every day my thought is, how can I improve it better than it was yesterday?
I like that Southern Nuclear gives the opportunity for development, not only professionally, but personally.
I still enjoy coming to work. I get to fix things. I still learn something new pretty much every day. And the pay part of it doesn't hurt either, so.
The compensation is good and the benefits are amazing. I work with really high quality people and I have managers that care about me, my family, and my work-life balance.
You have to be willing to work. There's a lot of things you have to put up with at the plant. You have long hours, long outages. The heat in the plant is another thing you have to deal with, so it's not all easy.
The most interesting part of our jobs are the places we get to go. We're working around a spent fuel pool, or we have to go inside containment. Those are places that people rarely ever get to see.
At Southern Companies, we're always leading the pack in our industry and maintaining our plant. We're truly improving it and making it better.
It matters that we have a safe workplace, but we also have a safe community.
That's an awesome video. Oh my gosh, the footage too behind the scenes is great. And again, talking about the scope of the careers, we talk a lot about working in this industry, and I think there's still that mindset that you're going to be carrying around a hammer all your life, and that's all you'll do. And that's not the reality at all. Wow, that's stunning video.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity for advancement, a lot of developmental opportunities. We also work very hard to have a diverse workforce. And that's, in all ways, race, gender, age, backgrounds and experiences. We have people with, technical college background, 4-year university background, military. We hire a lot, especially from the nuclear Navy. You think about it, people who operated Navy submarines and aircraft carriers then come work for us also. So the nuclear industry, there's 94, 95 nuclear power plants in the country, and we have 6 units within Southern Company, and we're going to have 2 more here shortly, right? So in a couple of years. So there's lots of opportunities in the nuclear industry that people don't really think about. And in electricity also, because, well, we all need electricity, right? And so, and that's not going to go away, right? So we generate electricity, we transmit it, and then we all use it, and we try to do it very efficiently, cost effectively, and safely, of course.
Well, and what I find really interesting too is that you are employing a lot of technology. The plant has been in operation since 1987, but then talking about, you have licensing through 2049. How are you going to keep up with the technology, or what things are being employed?
Right, that's true. Vogtle 1 and 2, they've been operating for 31 and 33 years, and that doesn't seem that long ago, but it is in technology, right? So it's an analog plant, but we have digitized a lot of our components, so it's become more digital. But one thing, if you think about a large asset like that, is you can replace pumps, you can replace valves and things like that. So we have a very robust maintenance program and inspection program. So a lot of the plants constantly being, reinvigorated and made almost new again. In fact, maybe even better. We've actually increased our output over the years through what we call power uprate programs. So get a little bit more efficiency out of it to make even more electricity, for the customers. Now, Kayleen, if you want, we got a couple of minutes here. Do you see my artist rendering up in front of you now? I think you do.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So what I like to do, if I can take maybe 5 minutes and then we can talk to Nora, is what we're building is a new design. Yeah, it's a new design. So if you look at Vogtle 1 and 2, that's a typical plant around the world. There's 400, people don't realize this, but there's more than 400 nuclear power plants making electricity around the world. And we're buying this plant from Westinghouse. It's called an AP1000. It's just basically the same idea. You have a reactor vessel, which is number 8. You split atoms, and then you make very hot water that becomes steam in these number 5 here, steam generators, that then turn these large turbine generators that make electricity. So we make as much steam to turn these large turbine generators 1,800 RPM. What's unique about these plants, though, there's a tank of water on the top that if you need extra water in some kind of abnormal situation, it's sitting above, right? So gravity, you open a valve and gravity will pour the water down. So it has, these new units will have a little different look to them than what most of us are used to seeing. So we're talking about the construction. This is about the time that Scott probably visited, 2012, 2013. And there's a construction site basically 8 years ago, right? And then if you look down in the where it says Unit 3 Nuclear Island, that's 6 feet of rebar. Now, Kayleen, the rebar is thick rebar, right? 6 feet of rebar. And of course, and this is why I really wanted to show everybody, if you're going to have rebar, you got to place concrete in and around and on top of it, right? So we actually performed a 41-hour continuous concrete placement. 41 hours. You think about a sidewalk or a road or a pad, that's a little small amount, maybe in some joints, maybe some separation. This is one chunk of concrete, 41 hours. You see now it's day shift. And talking about construction, these are 500 people day and night shifts. So this is now day shift now, right? And those are pumpers pumping that concrete.
Yeah, little spider legs dropping concrete everywhere. Yeah. That is what incredible time-lapse footage. I hope all our fans are watching this. We're getting a good science lesson, and this is just cool.
And of course, you have to let it cure, right? But so we did this twice. We're building 2 new units, and this is what I wanted to show. Now, one thing about this project, people do come and go. So these are a lot of the construction, like masonry and concrete people. We're not pouring as much or placing as much concrete now as we were earlier. You know, now we have a lot of electricians there on site. So you see why I want to show y'all a couple of these. And then 2 years later, 6 years ago, this is what the site looked like. You see the cooling tower is about halfway up, but that's not the power plant. The power plant's right here where it says Unit 3. All right. And then Unit 4 to the right. So 6 years ago, this is what the site looked like. 4 years ago, it looked like this. Both cooling towers are finished. All right. And those are 600 feet tall. And it's amazing getting a lot of concrete. Enough concrete at Vogtle. It's my understanding you could pour a concrete from Miami all the way to Seattle. So it's a tremendous amount of concrete. Yeah. Now, we also, I think anybody in construction would get excited about this. If you have a pulse, basically, you're going to like this. This is a 5-story building. A 5-story building that was constructed or fabricated in this large warehouse structure. And so because we're building these units in modular sections. Now, how do you get this large structure way over there for that crane to put it in place? Well, watch for the next 45 seconds and you'll see a time-lapse video. Now, this is one person in a red suit they're walking behind it. Now, this is time-lapse. This is something that took a half a day to do, right? It's 1,200 tons, Kayleen, 1,200 tons. You notice the crane has a counterweight on the back. It rotates around on a pivot point, and it fit in snugly, very snug, right? Just snug right in there, just like it's supposed to.
That is beautiful and stunning. And you thought the toys are so much cooler on this job site than in my garage. Oh my word.
Well, size, these are big, no doubt about it. And so that building was 1,200 tons, 5 stories tall. Metal wall was 3 feet apart that then were filled with concrete. You heard of reactor vessels. These are the reactor vessels of Unit 3 and Unit 4. And this is a picture of Unit 3 being placed inside that module that we just saw. Okay. And then you put rings around it. Okay. Because all nuclear plants have a containment. If there's ever any kind of leak, it would contain it. So, look at the size of that, 130 feet across. How many pounds? 2 million pounds.
Oh,
all right. And by the way, look at the counterweight on that crane. This is a different crane we're using. Obviously, you need a lot of counterweight or you're going to tip over, right? And then that's what it looks like inside Unit 3 or Unit 4 earlier. And these are called steam generators that are sticking out. These are the devices where steam is actually generated. So let me show you a really, really neat Georgia Power video of a steam generator being lifted. There's a little background music, but this is a 620 or so ton steam generator. It's got 10,000 tubes inside of it. So it's a heat exchanger. Hot water from the reactor will go inside, and then on the outside of those tubes, steam is created. Again, notice the crane.
Absolutely stunning. And footage that the public normally doesn't get access to see and appreciate.
Well, if you were able to visit like Scott, we would be off to the side behind the fence. And it is impressive to see it live, and everything is so big, right? But obviously, you don't get that close. And these are construction workers here, right? And again, they get the size of the device compared to the people. These are called steam generators.
Wow. Well, no, this is gosh.
And because of, yeah, go ahead, Kayleen.
Well, I'm just saying, because I'm so impressed and excited by this footage. I'm so excited that we have Nora Swanson on next too to talk about HR, because I want to work there now. This is amazing.
And that's why I stopped with this. I can just leave this in the background if you want.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. We'll have a variety of footage and kind of keep the chat going, because Nora, thank you so much for joining us. My mind is melted. I really, first of all, I'm sad I can't see it in person, because I know that I'd probably freak out like a kid at Disneyland. But these job sites are stunning. It's absolutely a beautiful structure, and how fun that you get to, work there and then help people work there as well.
Isn't it crazy? I mean, it is the most amazing job. And all the people that are working there together, building this one, structure, it's crazy. And the jobs are amazing too.
Well, and let's talk about that, because, I look at a structure like this, and for me, it would be very appealing for a few reasons. One, you get to work on the same job site for a very long time, and that's unique sometimes in this industry, but also the variety of jobs. So can you tell me about some of the skilled workforce that you employ there?
Sure. So when we look, we've kind of got two different worlds going on at Vogtle. We have the construction project. We are building and we are testing, and then there's the whole turnover to operation. So right now there's a lot of contractors and subcontractors working on that site. And if anybody would like some information about those jobs, you would have to go through Richmond County Constructors.
Do you have a website?
Yes. So we'll make sure that website gets listed here.
Awesome.
Big need for electricians right now, paying about $30 some an hour, plus a lot of little incentives that go with that. Yes.
That's amazing. That is a tremendous amount. What type of skill or knowledge does somebody have to earn that kind of pay?
So, there's a lot of different ways to get into the construction business, but can I share a little bit on how you're going to come work with us when we're operational? Because
yes,
those are the long-term jobs. You're going to find people come in and work in the energy industry, and we stay. We don't leave, because they are such good, fulfilling jobs with amazing pay. So let's talk a little bit about high school students. So high school students right now in the state of Georgia, we are so fortunate that we have an energy pathway. So students need to check and make sure with their high school guidance counselors if their school offers an energy pathway, because that's the first step. Start exploring those careers. Yes. And then, all STEM pathways lead to our jobs, because you need the science, you need the engineering, you need the math, and you need the technology. There's no way around our 21st century jobs that you do not have to be STEM ready. You have a lot of different options after high school too. You could go and just get some certifications, tons of certifications for in the technical field, 6 to 9 months. You could go and get a 2-year degree. We saw Jasmine, the electrician, on the video. Jasmine went to Augusta Technical College, 2-year degree, and she started off making $22 an hour. As an apprentice, she's going to make about $30. And then once she finishes her apprentice training, she's going to make over $43 an hour.
That's incredible. And
Isn't it?
My God. Yeah, it's a career, but with that kind of pay too, that provides life opportunities galore.
Yes.
That is, oh my gosh. I am okay. If I could handle the humidity again, I would be out there in a heartbeat applying for a job. I also want to talk about, I think some people are a little wary of working on something this big. It looks really scary and dangerous as it is. Can you talk about some of the safety protocol on a job site like this?
So nuclear safety is like any other safety program that you have ever heard of. We follow all the other safety rules for construction and all of that, but there's also a nuclear safety culture. And that is, we question everything. We don't mind stopping what we're doing to take a look around, see what's going on, and make sure that we're proceeding safely. Questioning attitude is kind of our mantra, always question what we're doing. So everything comes with an element of safety, peer checks, three-way communication. And some of the great things about those Energy Pathway high school programs, you learn about that before you get on the job. And the same way with some of our technical colleges, they're getting into this human performance realm of what we need to do to be safe. And so
big time.
Yeah.
I love it. Now, okay, I'm going to have to ask you to tell me the website where folks can go.
Okay, so we're going to, the Richmond County Constructors, that's our subcontractor, especially for the Vogtle construction project. So that should be listed in a chat. Hopefully they'll put that out there. And then for Southern Company, Georgia Power, Mississippi Power, Alabama Power, it's all part of Southern Company. So you can go on our Southern Company .com careers page, and you can find jobs all across. And we're gas too. So wow. Yeah, so many opportunities. And that website's also going to tell you what you need to do to prepare.
That's excellent, because I think sometimes people are a little confused as to what they need to prepare. Sometimes it might not be as much. Obviously, the safety and some certifications, but helping with that pathway on this is step 1, this is step 2. Yes. No, I'm so envious of the people who get to work there. Yeah. It's absolutely gorgeous and spectacular. And to have employees, you're right. I've met other folks who work in a plant like this, and you don't leave, because why? It's a family. And so, speaking of family, we're bringing Scott and Mike back in, our little lunch family. So Scott, what did you think about today?
That is unbelievable. One of my favorite images was one that Mike shared of all the different power plants in Georgia. And power comes somewhere, right? We're in our house, we just think it comes from the plug in the wall, right? All that power has to be generated, and it was just really cool seeing that map. And I've had a chance to visit a lot of those other power plants too across the state of Georgia. So I would just encourage our viewers, if you ever get a chance to go out and see a real power plant, take that opportunity, because it's really amazing, what goes into generating power and distributing it across the state. It's really fascinating to me.
Yeah, this was stunning and beyond informative. And I don't think a lot of people maybe understand how nuclear power plants work. So Mike, thank you so much for sharing the graphics and information. It was powerful all the way around. And honestly, I wish we had another half an hour to chat and be nerds about stuff, because this was so much fun.
I agree.
Listen, with Georgia Power and Southern Company, you go to our website, there's how things work, and there's information on all the plants. These videos from the construction, you go to Georgia Power YouTube channel. I mean, it's out there on social media everywhere. So there's a lot of opportunities if you want to go see some of these videos and photos and learn more about our project and about the big picture like Scott's talking about. Because that electricity that you're using right now, we are generating right now, right? It's all is in real time.
It's amazing and powerful. And I hope folks get to understand how the dots are connected a little bit clearer. So this has been wonderful. Nora, thank you as well for taking the time. I hope folks check out the website and apply en masse, because these career opportunities are fantastic.
Definitely. Excellent. Nora, Mike, thank you so much for your time today. Southern Company, Georgia Power, Southern Nuclear, you guys are amazing partners, and I wanted to lift that up today. We've been working with you guys for over 20 years, and we just appreciate all that you do to promote careers in construction and careers in energy. You do an amazing job, and I can't imagine a better partner than Southern Company, Southern Nuclear, Georgia Power here. So thank you so much.
Thank you all. Enjoyed it.
Thank you.
All the best.
Agreed. I feel energized and much brighter for this opportunity, all puns intended. And for our fans who stayed tuned, we went a little bit over. Thank you so much. And so if you have any questions, you can always text Career Path to 31996. And next week, I'm also excited because we're going to be talking to the Georgia Association of Water Professionals, H2, sorry, about their new O2 opportunity. So thank you again, Nora, Mike, and Scott, for joining for lunch today, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week.
Thanks, Kayleen.
Thanks.
You too. Be safe out there.
All right.